days at a time?
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Sir, yes, sir.
Yeah, I had to reload StreamYard. I was testing a thing. I did 7 months in 1 year in 2023 at Grand Teton National Park. I did not see.
Is that you, Mike?
Can you hear me okay? Yeah, it's me.
Hold on one second.
There's someone else asking.
He's talking to a different mic. I apologize for the confusion. This is OG. OG, this is Michael. No one's ever met anyone before. It's great. Are you wearing hot dogs on your hair, sir?
No, I'm wearing tasteful vertical, like wooden sound insulation slats.
Sound slab.
Every podcast. So I thought if I carry them on my head to the bar tonight, just came back from my local brewery, I can have good conversations wherever I go.
Nice.
But when I wear this hat, I have awesome conversations.
I love
Everybody
it.
loves talking to you then.
So
Actually, I've never had a problem with a park ranger.
This is
So
a real park ranger hat from the Grand
Yes,
Teton.
it is.
Nice. So
I
you
recognize it from the Smokey the Bear ad.
right.
But I did not see anything spooky or mysterious beyond bears like black. I had some crazy black bear stories. Like we had this one black bear that they called Big Booty Judy.
Why?
We didn't say that to the guests, but I feel like it's been 4 years, so I can say that now. But between the
Because she dug through their trash and ate all their poop.
yeah, but we had to be real strict about like the trash and the smells and stuff. And yeah, but that was it. But it was a majestic, beautiful time in my life, and it made me want to be a teacher, which is why I teach now. Instead of going to the Pentagon, I went to park ranger and then becoming a teacher. But no ghosts and no UFOs. Sorry.
All right, let me cover a little ground here so that people understand exactly the ramifications of this. The Park Service has equivalent power to like fucking the FBI and Homeland Security. You might not believe it. Those fruit cups who went out and stabbed the fucking liner for the reflection pool, they're fucking with the Park Service. That's not going to be no Secret Service, no presidential detail, none of that crap. Park Service. And do you realize how much authority the Park Service wields inside a park?
Oh my God.
All of it.
About the bears.
All of it. The president himself cannot enter a space that the Park Service says is closed. Period.
What do you mean?
If the Park Service or the administrators thereof decides it's dangerous, the Secret Service will turn and look at the president and say, "I'm sorry, we can't let you go in there." They say
like
it's
if
dangerous.
there's like an avalanche expert saying there's going to be an avalanche.
There doesn't necessarily have to be, is the point that I'm making. They can just be like, "You can't go there; it's dangerous," and that'll be the end of the conversation because they're done.
That is not my experience. I showed up there to be like a front desk. I'm going to make you excited about the bears in the mountains. Like,
Sure.
whatever you're talking about is never
Just because you don't execute the power that you had doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Yeah, I only did it for 1 year.
But you were still a park ranger, correct?
Yeah, I got a hat. I got sprint.
Right. Okay, so that's DNR. That's a high federal thing. It outranks a whole bunch of other crap in the federal government just because it's parks and service.
This is the first time
parks and like DNR and parks and recreation or whatever they call it. Those guys, they're okay. It's like this: Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, the Washington Monument. Now, if you're talking about the state network, it's a little bit different. They are very high echelon in the state. It's like messing with game wardens. Game wardens are absolutely absurd with the power level they execute. And a lot of drug raids that they do, they'll have the game warden execute the warrant because it makes it a federal case as opposed to a state case, and it just opens a lot of doors for what the police can do.
I did go mad with power one time, actually. I kind of messed up. It was a rookie mistake. But you're not supposed to have dogs in the areas around Jenny Lake at the Grand Tetons. And so I was out there doing once a week, I do a walk around hike. Like each ranger takes a different day, right? Which is one of the great perks of the job because you get to walk around this beautiful lake. And like,
I did the same thing at the local bars. Go ahead.
No, I just got back from mine. So I got you. And like, I saw a guy with a dog. I'm like, you're not supposed to be here. And he's like, oh man, I'm sorry. And it's just a guy with a dog. He's trying to be out in nature. Like, I'm like, yeah, you got to take the dog out of here. But I had misunderstood a training before, and I thought the dog's smell was going to make bears come. It was one of my early weeks. And I'm like, let's get this dog out of here right away. Now, there was a third-party contractor whose job it was to take people from one side of the lake to the other back to the ranger station. So I'm like, let's just get on the boat and get back over, right? So the next morning, I tell my boss about that, and she's like, oh, yeah, I would have done that differently. Just tell that guy not to come back next time, but it's chill. And I'm like, oh,
just don't bring his dog.
Like my boss was just like, yeah, you don't want dogs there, but like don't over enforce. And I'm like, all right, I kind of went too hard up.
The reason they don't want dogs there is because the same reason they don't really want them on the beach. It has to do with fecal matter and the diseases they could possibly carry.
Yeah,
they probably don't.
The level of enforcement, I was thinking hardcore, and she's like, no, just tell them not to come back next time.
Yeah, they just don't want people not picking up the poop. And apparently it's been a problem before, and so their dogs are not allowed there anymore.
Yeah, but like I did go mad with Power that one time because I made that guy ride with me. I mean, we were friends at the end, but like
I'm proud of you.
Oh my gosh.
But I don't know what you're talking about with like the magical ranger power, other than being rural and being the only authority in a rural area.
Well, that's part of it. All right. So let's think about the circumstances where you typically come across a federal park ranger, right? You're alone in the middle of fucking nowhere, and this dude walks up in a perfectly pressed suit. It's a little unnerving. It's a little creepy.
They changed the suits about 6 years ago, but yeah, everyone hated them until they let us do polyester ones.
Well, they probably came up in a boat or a four-wheeler or something like that. You just didn't notice, but they tend to just sprout out of the ground like mushrooms in a perfectly pressed green suit or brown suit or whatever, and it scares the living bejesus out of you. And then they tell you something that you didn't know, like you're not allowed to have an ice cream cone in your back pocket on Sunday, right? And they write you a little ticket. They hand it to you, and then they pop right back into that hole that they popped out of and disappear. And if you don't go deal with that fucking ticket, it comes back as a federal charge, bro. And it can be the most negligent, little tiniest detail. Don't deal with that ticket. See what happens.
Interesting.
You will have a marshal showing up at your door going, hey, you need to come here and talk to us. Yeah,
well, I never got on the wrong side of that, but I did get on the wrong side of them miscalculating our rent that we pay, our park ranger salary for our cabins, and they got picked up by $160, and they got way anal about that for like 6 months.
Once conned my way into a penthouse on a grand opening of a hotel, sort of by accident, but not quite. We were me and the woman who would later become my wife were going to a beach residence that we had rented for a couple of days before we go to her parents' beach house, right? And it's on a different island. It's a little further up, but we'd never been there before, and so we weren't quite sure where we were going, and we got turned around, and it's like fucking 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. And I've been driving since fucking dawn that morning because I'd gotten off work, then popped in the car to drive a 7-hour drive. So I end up over here, and we come around this freaking corner. And we've been lost in this area before, but never this specific area. And poof, on the side of the road, in the middle of freaking nowhere, South Carolina, there's this hotel. And it's got lights wrapped around it like it's freaking Christmas. It's got waving arm guy in the front. It's got the little pennant-shaped flags string up everywhere. They've got obviously fresh asphalt. This is a brand new hotel. And holy shit, look at that. It's open tonight. It's like, really? There's nobody here. I said, don't look like there's anybody here. I wonder if they'll let us use the bathroom. Let's just go check out the lobby. Like I said, we've been driving a while. We're off the grid. Our freaking GPS isn't working. We're trying to figure out where to go. And I know that hotel's got a map on the wall, right? So I go in looking for the map on the wall, and I walk through the door. The woman behind the counter goes, we've been expecting you. And I said, great. We've been expecting, oh, I'm glad you're here. We've been expecting you. And I said, great. I love to be expected. She said, we didn't want to have any problems happening in the schedule. And I said, yeah, I really hate problems in scheduling. And the whole time my wife is like over there bumping her elbow into my side. And I'm like trying to push her out of the way because I don't know. I want to see how far this boat will sail, right? Because I'm just out of curiosity. As an early Sasquatch moment is what I call it. She takes her ID. She scans them. We go up to the room. She puts us in the penthouse. We go in. We're hanging around, and for about 20 minutes, nothing happens, and then we get the phone call. They want to know when we're going to check out tomorrow.
And they never seen you before.
Sorry, I'm having a sneezing fit.
That'd be it.
They called me up, was like, what time are you going to, this is like a few minutes after we showed up. What time are you going to check out tomorrow? I was like, 9 a.m. Okay. And they let it go. And so I got a free night at a hotel in the penthouse with the jacuzzi tub and all of that stuff. They're being an asshole for basically letting them make assumptions. When I checked out the next morning, the morning clerk looked me straight in the face on the way out. Was like, "It's pretty slick. That's pretty slick." And I shrugged at him. Was like, "I didn't ask for nothing, man. Y'all offered everything." Like, it's still pretty slick, bro. I was like, okay. And I just left. Nothing ever came of it. I always figured I'd get a bill eventually because I gave them my ID. I'd do all the stuff, you know. I don't know who paid for the room, or maybe they were just completely empty that night. I don't know.
I did see one kind of spooky thing I did get on camera. I just remembered. Can I share my screen?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, let me get the video up real quick. So there's a trail there in the Grand Tetons that's sort of a slightly unofficial trail called Hanging Canyon that's up above Jenny Lake on the north side of it. And so you can go up and take this really beautiful, like 3,000 foot up in about 4.5 miles. So really steep, but once you get up there, you got an incredible view of the valley. And when you hear the term Jackson Hole, like it actually refers to like the valley, and Jackson City is the city, so it's different. But like what you're going to see in this video behind is like Jackson Hole is this incredible valley from the top of the Grand Tetons looking down, right? So I had this one beautiful day of the hike, one of the best days. Flowers were everywhere. The water was pouring. It was like a perfect Eden-like day. And just on the way down, as I'm leaving, I'm just feeling patriotic with my natural nature here, right? This is what I saw above my head, and I'm going to share my screen. Let's see. Share screen. Sorry, I'm booming. Window, this one. Can you see that?
Yep.
So I'm feeling patriotic. I'm up on this mountain, feeling good about America, feeling good about my mountain, nature. This is what I saw randomly, just came right in front of me on top of this mountain.
Those are 71s?
America.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
It is the Air Force, not the Blue Angels, but the Air Force one. That's me.
Rock falls.
And there's a little rock fall, but that's it.
Is that a glacial eccentric, sir?
Glacial erratic, maybe, but I would guess it's one that fell down later after the glacial age.
Okay.
But like, because that whole valley is full of rock falls.
It's so rounded. It was what made me wonder. It kind of looks like it's been rolled along on something.
I would lean towards a more later fall, but like, because glacial erratic,
Sure.
You know what I mean? Because like above that, about 200 feet above that's a field of boulders.
So where I'm at in Georgia, we don't really do the whole ice age thing over here. You know, that whole glacial issue isn't really an issue here. What we have are called I think they refer to them as floating erratics, and these are stones.
No, what's that
these
about?
I live where I live is clay. There's not a rock bigger than your end of your pinky. Everything on earth is some kind of something that washed out of the Appalachians 1 million years ago.
Right, you guys had that old mountains.
You go 20 miles north and you're literally standing on granitic bedrock. You go 20 miles south and you're standing on 60 foot of sugar sand. But right where I'm at, we're on a clay layer that's 350 foot deep in most places. And so there's no big rocks here. Like I said, you go 20 miles north, you'll run into big rocks. You know, but here there's no big rocks. And every once in a while you'll find a big one out in the middle of fucking nowhere. You'll find this ginormous piece of granite just hanging out over there for no apparent reason. What's weird about these things, and I've only found 2 of them. I think there's a few that you can look at on YouTube. I'd have to dig around for it. But anyway, that's why they're called floating erratics, is they're like glacial erratics, but we don't know how these got to where they are. Because glaciers didn't come this far south. So that's not the answer. Typically, people put them there, right? Typically, because granite won't sit on clay for long, it'll sink.
People do like goofy stuff to confuse other people.
I mean, this whole area was, the whole antebellum South. So there are hundreds of old plantation houses out there that might have thought about a millstone or something. I don't know, man. These things are weird. They're just out there. You'll be wandering along. There'll be clay, loam, couple of few rocks, big ass goddamn boulder. It's not attached to nothing. It's just sitting in the clay. We've moved a few. It's weird, dude. It's sitting in the clay means it can't have been there for more than, I don't know, a couple of thousand years or something already. Like 3 tons. Like, not likely that people picked it up and carried it off. Like, big.
5 foot, like.
Well, I can't see all of it. It's most of it's probably underground. But the part that's sticking out is the size of like a VW Beetle.
Yeah.
Like, they're big, dude. They're too big to have been carried here without some serious fucking effort and a road. And they find them in places where there typically aren't roads.
Mysteries.
Right? It's like the upside down trees.
I feel like the best approach here would be to make up an answer.
Make up an advert?
Or make up an answer, you know.
Oh, just the wrong answers only? Aliens? Well, no, the theory is...
yeah, what was that? You were saying like the floating erratics or something? Like,
yeah, the floating erratics, I think, is what they're called.
That's a wild 2-word phrase. I love it. Like,
the theory is that there was some sort of a strike of some kind, a meteor strike or something that happened somewhere north of here, and these were thrown out by it. But at the same time, it had to have happened within like the last 2,000 years or so, or these damn things would have been 300 feet deep at the bottom of the clay, you know. Which means that thing fell from the sky like a bolide, you know.
You ever heard about the Tunguska impact?
Yes, sir. That wasn't an impact. It was an airburst event.
Excuse me. Yes, thank you. Good correction. Like they couldn't find the meteors, and then they had to later, realize it was airburst. But like, it flattened a whole section of like Siberia.
Oh, dude, like a place the size of what, Connecticut or some shit?
Yeah.
Arkansas or whatever.
Or like the Black Stone in Mecca. Like, is it a meteor?
We'll never know.
Yeah. There were pharaohs with steel swords, like, and that steel was only available from meteorites, which I think is like legendary. Like, if you're in the time before steel and you could like get some meteorite steel and do some, like, that's like God swords, you know? The
dagger from Tutankhamun's tomb is amazing, and I agree. It is an amazing find. It is a steel item made 2,000 years before the first iron was actually smelted. So that's absurd. Something like that. But that's not the one that really impresses me. The one that really impresses me is the Chinese sword that was found in the flooded tomb. It's a Bronze Age sword. It's a bronze sword, but the sword has like 4 types of bronze in it, in that the back ridge was made to be highly stiff and heavy. The center part was made soft and malleable. The next part was made harder and less malleable. And then the actual cutting edge was something called sulfur hardened or sulfur hardened. And after it was sulfur hardened, it was work hardened with tiny hammers. They basically stiffened the edge of the edge by breaking the chemical bonds, by breaking the molecular bonds, like with a hammer. And what this means is someone designed this piece before they sourced the actual bronze, because it's still a bronze sword, right? It's fully Bronze Age. What it is, though, is a bit of metallurgy that is more advanced than your average steel that we use today. And it was done in a layered framework and all poured and smelted at the same time. Why this is important is that sword was poured as a single unit using 3 different types of bronze with 3 different hardnesses and 3 different densities, right? So they had to triple smelt 3 different bronzes and then pour the fucker correctly. So they might have tried this 1,000 times and got it right once. So on top of that, there's one more thing. There's a chemical component in this bronze sword that is nothing to do with the Bronze Age, and it is a bit of chromium that for some reason is on the surface of this weapon. And it's the reason it didn't completely go to hell in a bucket when the tomb flooded.
Found inside the casket, discovered in 65. This is fascinating. Yeah.
It's like finding a fucking it's like the Wright brothers took off in their fucking push plane and crashed into a Boeing 737. It's like they accidentally ran into an airport. That freaking sword makes 0 sense because it was made at the beginning of the Bronze Age.
Well, if you think about the Bronze Age collapse in the Mediterranean, right?
Oh, don't get me started.
Like, okay, so you got your tin, right? And you're trying to make your bronze. And then the supply of tin stopped coming in from Britain, right? Because the Bronze Age collapse stopped all the trade routes and everyone was going crazy and going local and being like, we're gonna turn inward and the world is gonna turn off for 800 years or whatever.
Everywhere but Egypt.
Yeah, debased Egypt. And then the reason why the steel stuff ended up getting mastered was out of sort of like, well, we can't fight with copper weapons, so we got to come up with something. So out of desperation, they made the steel. But like, had the disaster not happened, it would have slowed down the development of steel. If not for that, you know.
Well, the Egyptians didn't pick up steel usage for like another 1,000 years after. Well-established steel foundries existed on the northern side of the Mediterranean. They used steel, but and I see it as like an aesthetic thing, I believe, because they've been using copper and bronze tools for thousands of years, and suddenly steel tools are better, but when you buy your steel tool, you can't sit around and etch stuff in it like you do bronze. You know, you can't play with it. Everybody understood how bronze worked. It's not a very complicated bit of metallurgy. Typically, it's fairly simple. A little copper, a little tin. You know, shake, rattle, and roll, melt it together. You're good, right? But what's intriguing to me is the uses to which the Egyptians did put steel. They didn't get the steel plow. They didn't make steel axes. They didn't do that. They used bronze and copper for all of that. Their soldiers got steel swords. Their soldiers got iron weapons with bronze overlays.
Yep.
They created the steel in-house to appear to be bronze because that was aesthetically pleasing. I believe. I can't prove that's why they did it, but they did it.
Prioritizing military, like literal edge of the blade.
Sure.
Sense. I mean,
but what I'm getting at is, so they made coppish swords out of bronze for 1,000 freaking years, and then when they started using steel, even your general soldier carried a coppish sword, or copish sword, if you wish, and even they, basically the simplest form of weapon made in this style would have been made with either copper or brass or bronze. so that it looked bronze at a glance, even though it's obviously a steel sword.
Oh, interesting. So the sort of brownish, coppery aesthetic was
right. And that's what I believe. I believe the reason they did these, because they also did it to things like spoons, kind of like we would electroplate with gold or silver. They would basically bronze leaf stuff for apparently the visual aesthetic, I guess.
Yeah.
Or tradition. It could have just been tradition. You're supposed to have a bronze sword. So
we were on Beth's podcast last night, and behind all the pictures looked like a very microscopic view of like the Grand Canyon, but really I think it was Damascus steel, that beautiful wavy lines of Damascus steel. And I was like, that's like an appropriate background to one of these debate things.
Lots of layers, sir. Many layers. Oh, gosh. The most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
What's your favorite archaeological anachronism? Like, I'm kind of the opinion I've never found a true anachronism. Like, I'm skeptical of any real anachronism. So, you got any candidates that could bust me up?
The ones I like to talk about most is the London hammer, because that's just cheeky and fun.
Yeah.
There's a few parts from the Midwest. They were referred to as the bells. Come to me later. I'll wake up in the middle of the night and scream it. Anyway, it was these bells that were supposedly dug up while drilling wells out of like 200,000-year-old alluvial clay or some crap like that. Like
Clarksville hawk bells.
Perhaps does it look like a weird little fucking like a weird little copper bell?
Looks like a little
copper. Yeah. Supposedly the damn thing has a really weird ring that it doesn't sound like other bells for whatever reason. But there's two of them. Two were found. One could be Hawksville, and the other one was part of a mining expedition. And supposedly the story on the other one is they were what they call it, lift mining, strip mining, maybe. They were taking off all the overburden, and they basically had one of these big ass fucking earth movers that do drag line type thing, and it was dropping buckets of overburden at a spot. The owner of the mine came out, and he brought his kid and a couple of his friends, and supposedly these kids wandered over to where they had just dropped all the sand and was digging through it and playing in it and stuff, and they came up with the bell. And this is what's referred to in archaeological as a non situ find. So they dated this. They attempted to date the sand, and it supposedly came back as like 1 million years old. And they found like the bell with no clapper in it. And here's the weird thing about these bells: they don't have a connection on the inside for a clapper. Like it's like there was never a clapper in it.
Yeah.
So the theory is that they were held on a string and tapped.
Like make a whistle or something, or
but no, it's a bell. It's just that
against each other.
Right. Well, no, they were not together.
Oh, I see this horse. I met this horse now. Yeah.
Right.
And they're not. Yeah.
The idea is that they were suspended from a string and rang by striking it, rather than it having a clapper on the inside. The London hammer, though, is really, it's kind of dumb and at the same time kind of interesting. It's a mid 8-7. Well, the type of hammer involved has been used for like 1,000 years. So like it's a very old design of a mining hammer, and it's a classic one. Like you'll find them all over the freaking world. Anywhere the English went, you'll find these things.
It looks like it's locked in a rock of some kind.
Now that is a type of bituminous coal, and supposedly it takes millions of years for that coal to compress down like that. But there are a few exceptions to that statement, and they're right about that. It's still a weird find, even knowing this extra tidbit. Certain types of anthracites in a collapse environment, if say the mine itself collapses, can be reformed over a few decades. It'll turn back into like a relatively solid chunk, like they kind of grind into each other. I don't know how to explain it. It has to do with how much pressure is pushing down from the top. Depending on what type of cave-in takes place, it can put enough pressure on it to actually drive the coal products back into a single mat, right? And if an object happens to be in a mine when it happens, and you can find around the world examples of things like spark plugs and freaking pool balls and stuff falling out of freaking mine deposits. And typically, if you do enough research on the mine, you'll find that there was a cave-in back in the 1800s, and they had mined back into the area of that cave-in again.
Sure, yeah.
But the London hammer is derived from London, Texas, not London.
That's what I'm looking at right now, yeah.
And there's another feature not far from where that hammer was found called the Texas Wall, Joshua's Wall. It's one of the very oldest stone features ever discovered in the New World. It's apparently, supposedly, a naturally formed wall of what I think is referred to as intrusive basalt. So it's an intrusive inclusion in between sedimentary layers. And because of the way it's cooled off, it supposedly broke into what looked like bricks. And it's a wall with basically made of big bricks.
Oh yeah, it's like the Devil's Tower.
Is that you, Joe Cool?
But you can't hear me because I'm backstage. Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
The Giant's Bridge in Ireland. It's like
Joe Cool. Yeah. Meet Michael.
Yeah. Michael, nice to meet you. Fucking Sasquatch getting me wet over here with his how can the shit be stuffed in the rock in the back of the mine? That was
I mean, whatever.
Get me excited over here.
You know,
I'm sorry to get you all worked up and then leave you hanging, bro. I'm going to bed a little bit.
Yeah.
That was really good.
Besides, that check didn't clear last time, Joe.
Can't keep getting shit for free, huh?
Yeah, right.
Squad, sometime we should talk about the Antikythera mechanism. That's a fun one.
What about it?
It is a fun one, but it's also relatively, it's not nearly as complicated as some of Leonardo's.
I'm enjoying the conversation, but I'm going to need some donos to keep this shit going. It's my hour mark. We'll get 10 minutes. We'll get 10 minutes going. If we ain't got some donos, I'm going to have to end it, gentlemen.
Right.
I'm experimenting with trying a stream tonight. I've never done it before, but if you want to dump to me after, I mean, I don't know. I'd be in.
I'd probably be down. I think I still got half a quarter blunt over here.
But I'll talk about some weird stuff and try out this new StreamYard.
I'm not sure I even know who you are, though. I need some assistance.
Oh, he's new. Well, I just met him just mere moments ago.
All right. Nice to meet you, pal.
Cool.
This is Joe Cool. Joe Cool, he fucks with cops.
Yes.
He films it. It's funny.
He loves the police. He's the police.
He's their personal stalker, bro. He spends more times on cops than cops spends on TV. And he's gone.
I don't know how that works yet.
I prefer the courts.
Oops, wrong button.
It happens. Like maybe he was a cop.
I have my body cam on. I had to switch it real quick.
Right.
So
what I was getting at with the that fucking shit that Georgians shouldn't even try to say. The level of complexity of the gears requires an individual that understands the concept of gear mesh, but that can be done in literally any home workshop anywhere. The problem comes up when you try to mass produce them.
Yep.
You can make one and you make two work together. If you got a handful of people working with you and they know what they're doing, you can make a whole stack of them and you can do what that mechanism does pretty easy. It's not even that complicated. Ultimately, it's 136 gears that rotate, interlocking with each other to count out days, weeks, months, and plot.
It's when you suddenly try to date it thousands of years back, is when suddenly it becomes
But that's what I'm saying. The issue would be to try to mass produce that mechanism. Yeah. Making that mechanism has been possible in Persia since fucking, I don't know, 800 BC. Yeah, like seriously.
Classes of highly skilled craftspeople can do this. It's just until the Industrial Revolution, it doesn't, spread out.
Yeah, right. Pretty much. If you fuck with metal, you could make it. And I would say that it did require an intelligent cat to do it and a talented cat to do it.
There was definitely a genius involved. There was a priest, and I promise you this, there was a priest, one hell of a coppersmith. That man was well worth his salt. And whoever the local historical folk dude was that did the dates and names and who begats and all that, because it calculates certain planting times as of a location somewhere in the Mediterranean, on a particular parallel. It calculates planting times, or first frost, last frost, eclipses out to like 10 or 15 years or something like that, solstices, all of your major planting type stuff. So it's basically an almanac in your pocket. And in theory, at least, you could adjust its accuracy to your location by altering where the starting point is. So you can move north and south by changing the disc.
I dig it. I understand. I heard they were making it, dating it tens of thousands of years old, though. That would I'd have a problem with.
Well, there's no metalworking that far back, so probably
that's the point of coming up. The thing about that is an accretion date, and accretion can take place like really fast in certain environments and really slow in others. And so when you do an accretion dating, you have to date the speed at you have to time the speed at which accretions take place in the area it was in, and then date it. And what they're doing is taking a number from somewhere in the Mediterranean or whatever and calling it good.
Yeah, like if one layer has like 20 floods in an area that has floods a lot, it's not going to be the same as another area with 20 years.
In this case, it's not accumulation of flood silts. This is literal growth of coral on surfaces, right? Cool. So they're trying to date it based off of the coral that's growing on it, but at the same time, on what's left of the machine, right? And that's one of the reasons why they give it such an ancient date, is it does have a large accumulation of these fairly long-lived barnacular type things.
They don't think it's the shipwreck, though. They think it happened around the time of the shipwreck.
Well, of course. I mean, it was found in or under the shipwreck. Yes.
I thought you were saying it was like,
and so that's like
on the boat and then it sank.
That gives a top limit of like, I don't know, 900 BC maybe.
More reasonable shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Herodotus. Let me ask you this: Herodotus accomplished basically the same thing that James Watt did. What he did not do was apply it. Herodotus designed a set of doors to open based on water temperature. You could build a fire in a particular location. The pressure would rise. The door would open. When you put out the fires, the door would close. And these doors were so massive that no human could possibly move them. And so it seemed like magic at the temple, right?
Hero of Alexandria.
Hero did the little whirly gig too, didn't he?
Yeah, I had to Google it because I was mixing it up.
Right. Okay. My bad.
Story it looks like. Yeah, I didn't want to flip it. I'm helping.
You're good. So here's my question. The Romans were 2 steps away from an industrial revolution. They had already perfected interchangeable mass production when it comes to their amphoras and their clay and their pots. Yeah. They did not make that same application to the metallurgy for whatever reason. Much more expensive, much more detailed craftsmen, perhaps, but I don't know.
Probably busy. Might have been busy dominating, taking shit over.
Not centralized enough.
So
Yes, not centralized, right?
Not
I
centralized
think
enough.
politics is why. But
Libertarianism destroyed it.
there's another factor. There's another factor there. If you go look at where Rome is in Italy, they have a dearth of coal and steel specifically, are two things that they have to import. Right. So without the ability to make iron boilers, they would have been stuck with bronze boilers, which would have left a lot to be desired for structural strength.
Yeah.
and they were very distracted by like their political instability and armies.
And well, there was also a handful of things happening around then, like, I don't know, the plague of Justinius.
Yeah.
What do you know about that one? The plague of Justinius.
It's like the worst year ever.
Worst year
had a few
ever,
worse
he
ones.
said.
It wasn't a good one for Athens. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't great.
Bodies in the streets, like 20% of people living in like urban areas, like it's ridiculous. It's like straight up Independence Day level, like.
So I got a show Sunday called The Blast Radius. We're adding a new segment where we're gonna pick a random. Well, it's a good. I like it. I like it. I like the guy who runs it.
I like it. Yeah.
Anyway, we're bringing a new segment in. It's a random historical mystery that we're just going to pontificate over for a while. And this week we're going to cover the English sweating sickness.
Sweating sickness.
Sweating, right?
I think I remember
sickness.
that. If I heard about it, I must never heard about that.
It ended in 1551, but there were 5 waves that occurred between like 1845, maybe 43,
Is
maybe.
it as simple as it sounds? Just sweating?
But it's actually way more fucking diabolical, dude. Here, let me give you the progression of symptoms. You wake up in the morning, you eat your breakfast with your family, you walk into town, and on the way into town, you realize you're sweating a little bit more than you normally would, and you get a little thirsty. And so you stop by somewhere at the bar, get something to drink, and when you try to drink it, your throat's sore, you get a little bit of a raspy cough. The whole time you're sweating more and more and more.
Metals, poisoning, industry, something in the food or agriculture.
Sure.
This would be my first guess.
We've dug through all of that.
1640?
Here's the weird part. The poor seem to be largely immune to this disease.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Go poverty.
I'm poor as a motherfucker, thank God.
It makes 0 sense as far as like the cross-reference of population that was struck. Lots of babies, lots of middle-aged, fighting-aged men. Healthy people died from this, not and also affluent.
Oh, you could die from it. You could die,
dude. It killed you in like 5 hours. It was one of the most sudden onset deaths that ever happened.
What an inadequate name. I'm fucking here thinking they have sweat attacks. And jeez, it's killing them. All right, I got to recalibrate my guesses here.
They referred to it as the sweat, and you'll hear it referenced in a few medieval manuals. Of
okay, so now I'm thinking
the area.
I don't know what I'm thinking. Now I'm certainly throwing out, the contagious bullshit that I was thinking about. You eat something or metal or something like that. It's far more dangerous.
It was aliens. It was aliens testing.
Hold on. There are 2 things that fit really close. One of them is an almost perfect match. Although we have not seen one of these happen in the past fucking 200 years or whatever. Hantavirus can present this way in a few cases every couple of years, right?
Hantavirus would have hit the poor though, so
you would expect, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. There is another type. It's not no way related to hantavirus, but it does an almost identical thing, but it is transferred through spiders.
Okay.
Spiders, ticks, certain types of mites. Yes, arachnids.
Dude, bro.
It's called an arbovirus.
I don't like that.
It functions very.
I don't like spiders spreading illness. That's too much.
It responds as a novel virus, or rather a virus in a novel population, very much like hantavirus.
Spider virus, spider shit, squads look like they would have noticed the wound, the place. If they had all these people there, they would have noticed the points of contact.
It doesn't have to be a spider.
I'm on Google Scholar
Some-
right now, and all the citations are like in the mid 1900s, but they do mention the hantavirus. Yeah.
I'm a little bit of a hantavirus nerd, but anyway, arbovirus is what I'm thinking because of how quick and first of all, how quickly it showed up, how many it killed, who it killed, and the fact that it just stopped one day.
Well, it burns out if it kills you that fast.
As long as it doesn't catch no victim.
Not if it's not killing the poor. Think about it, dude.
Talking about it's like there's not that much urbanness back
I have a
then.
theory, and it's fucking out there. It's way,
All right,
way,
what we
way
got?
out there, but it fits all the freaking high spots. An arbovirus delivered by feather mites of some description, something that was used specifically in northern England for things like down comforters and whatnot. The first time this come through, it shows up in a like, oh yeah, this is another thing, Joe. It happened from early spring to early fall. In every case, it was only during the summer months, right? So here's my theory. Every year that an outbreak takes place, whatever comforter it was that was causing all of this, right, would be either put up or taken out, right?
Right.
For whatever reason. The reason I suggest a down comforter of some, or maybe a bed or whatever, is because the people who initially get it and manage to survive are probably going to be immune for life for it. But that doesn't mean they won't be carriers. And so it would be something that they did seasonally that these people who are immune interacted with and then moved into an open population to change it.
It seems like, though, if it's if the down feathers are in a comforter or something like that, they'd be using it for winter. So when they take it out is when most of the cases would evolve. When they put it up, the cases would be absent.
Yes, but it's counterintuitive because less travel takes place in winter.
And
So if the family that's the host of this particular source, because it's called a biological reservoir when you're talking about a virus, when you're talking about like catching it from a rat or whatever, the vector.
But like, could poor people afford down?
No, that's one of my points.
Which is why we're trying to get it out of the hands of poor people. Why he went with down.
One of the reasons. And if it wasn't a comforter, it could have been a fleece, a jacket, or some other thing. What matters is the arbovirus gets into the native population of mites and whatnot. And I don't know where that goes from there, right? It should take an epidemiological straight line path, but it didn't. It affected. But there is one funny thing about arboviruses. They are a trans-species virus that's very much like swine flu, bird flu, you name it, right?
Yeah.
They are hyper lethal in their first round. They are unbelievably deadly. They're the kind of things that make NORAD wet and dreamy at night. After a couple of cycles, though, their lethality kind of peters out and they become more of an endemic strain, mainly because people start becoming immune to it. But when they first infect in a population, they almost always kill the healthiest members of that population.
Like white
it's because their body is strong enough to fight the virus and ends up fighting too hard. You die from something called a cytokine storm.
And you sweat.
And that's part of it. One of the very first things, and it's quick. It's unbelievably quick. From like 4 hours to 4 days.
Hours is crazy.
Unbelievably quick. The fucker says, "Damn, I feel bad." Sits down and dies. Like it's quick.
I see why you picked the comforters, but it's hard for me to get past. Yeah, hard for me to get past what route it would take to make it more active in the summer as opposed to the wintertime when people are more exposed.
Arboviruses are just in general, they are because of the animals that carry them. Typically, it's an arachnid rather than a flea or an insect or something like that. And so, like with the plague in winters, you go inside, all the rats come in. It could be where it's warm and where all the food is, and you end up catching the plague. This is kind of the opposite of that, you know.
Spiders like a golden down.
Well, yeah, but they're not terribly active, and I'm not specifically. I'm thinking more along the lines of mites because they also carry arboviruses. You know, it could have been ticks, but unlikely. It starts off, if you go look at the geography, it pretty much only affected England until its final wave, which made it all the way to the mainland of Europe.
I don't know enough about mites, but ticks, I think, nature, right? Even wet nature.
Sure. And it would also explain kind of the weird way it traveled, because it popped up in this one town in this one family, and then almost half of that town was killed. But then the next town over, only 1/10 of the population was killed. And it was like all those soldiers that had come back from whatever previous war had come in. And then another round of deaths happened after that were.
Michael,
check this out.
If you want this raid, go ahead and post your link in the back.
All right.
If
is anyone able to hold my hand and tell me what to click to make that happen? I'm just brand new at this. If not, I have another night.
Oh, Harold loves holding
StreamYard account.
I just need your YouTube video.
What?
Wait, so I have to connect it to a YouTube, which I don't think I've done yet, which might be too much troubleshoot to bother with. Unless you know I do it real quick.
I usually handle this part with people, but I am like Walking Dead sleepy right now.
Yeah, and I was just thinking, I would hate to have you go through all that trouble and then I'll fucking get sleepy and bail on you too.
Yeah, no, I was just troubleshooting a little bit, but I didn't quite connect it. But I'm
gonna drop my email backstage. Hit me up. It might be a couple days before I answer, but I'll help you out with some stuff.
Yeah.
Be careful. In a week, you're gonna be trying to get a reach around.
Well, my girlfriend will be back by then, so she'll. But I got 8 more days to podcast this summer, so I'm gonna do some debates every night for the next 8 days.
All right, I hope I see you again, Michael. I'm finna get out of here.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Later.
Thank you for coming, Joe.
I forgot to ask him how his wife and my kids are.
Is that you, Isaiah?
It's me, brother. How you doing?
It sucks. I'm glad you came, but we're about to get out of here.
Oh shit! You know what? Well, fuck it. At least I got to pop up and say hi. That's all that matters.
Based to Rooney.
Oh yeah. Y'all have a safe night. I mean, at that point, if y'all getting out of here, what was the highlight of your night so far? What was the,
I showed you my titty.
That's crazy.
All right.
Just nerding out with the homies. But ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all for coming up. Thank y'all for being here. Appreciate you guys. Y'all have a wonderful night. There is absolutely nowhere for me to send you guys tonight. Sorry, you don't gotta go home, but you can't stay here. Much love, everybody.
Yep, be blessed.
Thank you for coming.
Take it easy, brother.
We archery content is coming. Finally got everything done. Video game content, working on it. Gotta finish doing what I was doing with Kel over there trolling the furries, and then we'll be launching the video game content. Archery contest should be getting done Sunday or Monday. Only reason I say Monday is because the arrows are supposed to be here Sunday, but I don't know what time they're supposed to be here. So I got the cameras and the stands and everything today. The stands for the cameras today. I got the card reader, and I got everything to do everything with. So that's going to be fucking awesome. Thank you guys. Much love. I'll see you all in the next